The air is thick with quiet curiosity, like the calm before a storm of revelations. Shadows stretch across the walls, flickering in the room's faint glow, an unassuming prelude to what's about to unfold. The screen slowly darkens, then brightens, revealing a mosaic of images that seem insignificant at first glance. A classic logo, a familiar book cover, an icon of pop culture etched into collective memory. But as the narrative begins, it becomes clear that these images are just pieces of a much larger puzzle, one that questions the very fabric of our perceived reality. It starts with a simple but haunting question. Have you ever looked at something and remembered it one way, only to discover that, in reality, it was entirely different? An image, a phrase, a moment so engraved in your mind that its altered version feels impossible to accept. This is the essence of the Mandela Effect. It's a phenomenon that captivates millions, something that whispers to our subconscious fears and curiosity. What if our memories are not as reliable as we think? What if what we believe to be true is just an illusion, a shared illusion? The name itself is a testament to the profound influence of collective memory. It derives from Nelson Mandela's imprisonment. Many believed he had died in prison in the 1980s, only to learn decades later that he had survived and was released in 1990, eventually becoming South Africa's president. For years, millions of people remembered him as a man who passed away behind bars, only to find out they had been mistaken. And yet, this wasn't an isolated incident. The Mandela Effect stretches far beyond one individual's story. It touches on famous objects. The logo of a beloved childhood cereal, the spelling of a popular brand, movie quotes that echo differently in our minds. Take, for instance, the line from a certain iconic film, whispered by many to be, "Luke, I am your father." Yet, the actual line, as delivered in the film, is, "No, I am your father." A minor difference, perhaps, but one that fuels 1,000 debates and a sense of collective dissonance whenever the memory resurfaces. Or the logo of that nostalgic fruit juice brand. Some recall it featuring a distinctive, smiling face now absent from the current design, sparking theories about intentional alterations or mere inconsistency in branding over the years. The phenomenon isn't confined to trivial details. It penetrates deeply, often shaking the foundations of our understanding of history, identity, and reality. People have vivid recollections of events that, upon thorough investigation, are proven false, yet they remain convinced of what they remember. How is it possible that a significant portion of humanity shares these inaccurate memories? Is it mere coincidence, or is something else at play? As our collective fascination deepens, the questions multiply and cascade. Could these shared false memories be signs of parallel realities bleeding into our own? Are we witnessing the remnants of alternate worlds, layered over our own like ghostly imprints? Or is this phenomenon simply a testament to the quirks of human cognition? The mind, after all, is a fragile and complex fabric, prone to suggestion, bias, and decay. But what if there lies a hidden depth, a scientific or metaphysical truth that we have yet to understand? Scientists have taken notice. Some skeptics dismiss the Mandela Effect as mass misremembering, a psychological anomaly rooted in the ways our brains process information. Others propose that it is a result of confabulation, where the mind fills in gaps with fabricated memories, creating a cohesive but false narrative. But these explanations, while plausible, don't fully satisfy the profound sense of shared reality dislocation experienced by so many. How do millions of individuals suddenly recall a piece of history or a piece of pop culture differently? How is it that these memories persist, stubborn and vivid, despite evidence to the contrary? Meanwhile, metaphysical theories have begun to stir in the shadows. Could these glitches in collective memory be evidence of multiple dimensions, brushing ever so slightly against each other? Theories of alternate realities, parallel universes existing side by side, offer a tantalizing explanation. In some versions of these worlds, history diverged differently, leading to a cascade of altered memories. Maybe we are, in a sense, overlapping with other versions of ourselves, a flickering reflection of infinite possibilities, bleeding through the cracks of our perceived universe. The notion is exhilarating and terrifying. It suggests that reality is not as fixed as we've been led to believe. Maybe the universe, in its vast complexity, is more fluid than concrete, a tapestry woven from countless threads of existence, converging and diverging in ways that challenge our understanding. The Mandela Effect is more than a curiosity. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest uncertainties about ourselves and the cosmos. And so, as we stand at the cusp of these revelations, the story pulls us deeper. What if these anomalies are not mere coincidences or errors but signals, whispers from the edges of alternate worlds? What if the fabric of reality itself is thinner than we thought, and these shared memory anomalies are moments when that fabric ripples, revealing secrets long hidden? The questions multiply, each more perplexing than the last, teasing us to look beyond the surface into the tangled, mysterious web of existence. The stage is set with the understanding that the Mandela Effect is more than a psychological trick or a cultural quirk. It's a doorway, an invitation to explore realms unseen and truths unspoken. And as we venture into this investigation, we prepare to uncover the scientific hypotheses and metaphysical theories that dare to explain these strange phenomena. Perhaps, in doing so, we will come face to face with the unimaginable, that reality, as we know it, might be just one of countless existing stories, interconnected and interwoven in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The echoes of what once was, and what could have been, resonate faintly, urging us forward. The truth lies somewhere in the shadows, waiting to be revealed. Memory and reality, the lines that blur in the shadows of our minds, creating illusions so convincing that even we begin to question what is real. We stack our memories like fragile stones, each one shaping the foundation of our identity, yet beneath that surface lies a labyrinth of illusions, biases, and falsehoods that can distort everything we believe we know. These distortions are not trivial. They are the echoes of our mind's vulnerability, whispering secrets of the Mandela Effect, revealing that perhaps our memories are not the mirrors reflecting truth, but cracks in the glass, distorted, fractured, unreliable. Imagine sitting in a dimly lit room, the air thick with the weight of doubt. A psychologist stands before a group of volunteers, asking them to recall a specific event from years past. To most, it seems simple, straightforward. But as the experiment unfolds, conflicting memories emerge, details shifting and reshaping themselves with each retelling. Some remember hearing a different tune in the melody they swore was familiar. Others recall a logo changed, a phrase altered, a slight deviation that feels almost like déjà vu, but so persistent and collective it has a name: the Mandela Effect. This phenomenon, the collective false memory, begins to unravel the fabric of our perceived reality. And it's not just a modern mystery but echoes through history, built on the flawed architecture of human cognition. Our minds are not cameras recording life's footage with perfect clarity. They're storytellers piecing together fragments, often filling in gaps with assumptions, biases, and confabulations. Under the guise of coherence, our memories are susceptible to suggestion, reconstruction, and misattribution. We are vulnerable to cognitive biases that distort perception. Confirmatory bias leads us to favor information that supports our existing beliefs, strengthening false memories in the process. The hindsight bias makes us feel as if events were obvious all along. I knew it all along, we say, but in reality, it's our minds rewriting history to fit a narrative we want to believe. The misattribution of memories, confusing imagination or dreams with real experiences, blurs the boundary between what is implanted and what is authentic. Humans are inherently pattern seekers. Our brains are hardwired to find meaning and connection in chaos. We see faces where there are none, hear voices that aren't there, and connect dots that don't exist. This wiring makes us ripe for false memories, and experiments reinforce this fallibility. Consider the classic false memory experiments, where participants are told stories about childhood events that never happened, like being lost in a mall or meeting a famous character, and eventually, many begin to remember those events vividly, even against contradictory evidence. Their minds have filled in the blanks, fabricating memories from suggestions, from stories told, from the flickering shadows of imagination. This delicate dance between perception and reality is further complicated by the way our brains encode information. Memories are not snapshots stored in a vault. They are reconstructions, pieced together anew every time we recall them. This process makes them susceptible to alteration, particularly over years or decades, where external influences, media, discussions, personal reflections, mingle with our internal narratives, twisting them into new shapes. A photograph, a rephrased story, even a joke overheard, a simple suggestion, can forge a false memory, one so convincing it becomes indistinguishable from reality. In the dark corners of our minds, this malleability raises haunting questions. If our memories, anchors of our identity, can be so easily distorted, how can we trust our perceptions? What if the memories we hold dear are no more than illusions crafted by a fragile mind? Are we witnessing history through a glass coated in fog, or are those distortions reflections of an even more unsettling truth? That reality itself is subjective, malleable, and ultimately, unknowable. This uncertainty is not just philosophical but visceral. It creeps into our daily lives, manifesting in personal relationships, historic events, even in moments of tragedy and triumph. People insist they remember things differently, an argument akin to gnawing at the roots of consensus. When the crowd claims the Berenstain Bears were spelled differently, when someone remembers Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, long before his release, it's no longer just a matter of memory. It's a questioning of the very fabric of what we perceive as shared history. The psychological underpinnings reveal much about our collective vulnerability. Our brains are busy constructing narratives, filling in the gaps, sometimes with deliberate falsehoods, sometimes with unconscious distortions. The power of suggestion is so profound that even simple miscommunications can snowball into shared illusions. Media, with its endless stream of images, stories, and reinterpretations, weaves itself into the tapestry of our memories, blurring the line between what we see and what we believe we saw. We are not passive witnesses to history, we are active creators of our reality, rewriting it with each recollection. And like the characters in a haunting story, we are haunted by the ghosts of false memories. Those whispers from the past that seem to echo in unison, yet never quite match the truth. The question persists. How much of what we remember can we genuinely trust? Is our perception merely a fragile illusion, a carefully crafted narrative that can unravel at the slightest touch? These contemplations lead us deeper into the shadowy realms of consciousness, where the very essence of our experience is questioned. If memories can be so easily manipulated, what is the foundation of our identity? Are we simply echoes of past selves pieced together from fragile fragments? Or is there something more enduring, something beyond the shadows cast by our minds? As the darkness around us deepens, so does the realization that our grasp on reality might be as tenuous as a whisper on the wind. Our memories, beautiful yet treacherous, serve as both the anchors and the anchor's Achilles heel. They bind us to our history, to our sense of self, yet threaten to undo us with the slightest misremembering. And somewhere lurking in the depths of this uncertainty lies the core question. Are we ever truly seeing the world as it is, or merely experiencing a beautifully crafted illusion, a shared delusion spun by minds as fragile as glass? The answers remain elusive, hidden in the shadows of cognition. But one truth persists. Our memories are more than just records. They're stories we tell ourselves, stories that may, or may not, be true. And in that lies the greatest mystery of all. In the dim glow of science, where the boundaries of understanding are pushed to their limits, a story unfolds. A story about the very fabric of reality itself. Imagine, for a moment, that our universe isn't the only one. That somewhere beyond our view, countless others exist, each with its own set of laws, its own story, its own version of what is real. This isn't mere science fiction, but hypotheses born from the depths of rigorous scientific inquiry. The idea of a multiverse, a tapestry of countless parallel universes, begins with the strange and perplexing realm of quantum mechanics. In this world, particles dance to a strange tune, existing in states of possibility rather than certainty. They spin, they flicker, and they choose their states only when observed. Schrödinger's cat, both alive and dead within a box, an absurd paradox, reveals that on the tiniest scales, reality is not fixed but fluid, contingent upon our observation. Could it be that these quantum possibilities stretch beyond a single universe, that each potential outcome spawns its own reality? Recent studies push these thoughts further. Researchers explore quantum entanglement, the phenomenon where particles become linked across vast distances, instantly affecting each other regardless of separation. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, and now it's a cornerstone in the quest to understand the universe's interconnectedness. If entangled particles can influence each other instantaneously, might this hint at a deeper, multi-layered fabric? One that connects multiple realities, superimposed yet distinct? Physicists dig through the mathematical foundations of the universe, suggesting that the very fabric of space-time could be a multiverse's tip of the iceberg. String theory, with its elegant yet complex equations, paints a picture of multiple dimensions, hidden and inaccessible to our senses, each potentially hosting its own universe. Some proposals propose that what we perceive as the universe's constants are merely local parameters, variables that might differ elsewhere in the multiverse. Evidence? Scientific studies have begun glimpsing anomalies, phenomena that challenge our understanding of cosmic fine-tuning, the delicate balance that allows life to exist. Could these be whispers from other universes, nudging the fabric of our own? Scientists have even proposed that collisions between universes, a startling thought, might leave discernible imprints on the cosmos, subtle ripples in the cosmic microwave background. Yet, these are shadows, hints in the vast darkness of what remains unknown. And as scientific exploration edges forward, the line between the possible and impossible blurs. Experimental setups reproduce quantum effects at macroscopic scales, hinting that reality itself might be more malleable than we ever imagined. These experiments ignite a troubling, yet fascinating question. Do our actions, our choices, influence which universe we inhabit? Is it conceivable that shifting your perception or decision could actualize a different reality altogether? The implications are staggering. If science hints that multiple realities are not just theoretical constructs but interconnected layers of existence, if they indeed support the notion that realities can shift, ripple, and perhaps even overlap, then everything we believed about free will, destiny, and the nature of existence begins to fracture. Perhaps what we see is but a sliver of the multiverse's vast shadow, and behind that shadow lies the possibility of endless worlds, parallel echoes of ourselves, all playing out in silent, cosmic symphonies. The scientific community has yet to reach a consensus, but it cannot ignore the mounting evidence and the profound questions these theories raise. It is as if the universe itself whispers that our reality is just one chapter in a sprawling cosmic saga, an echo of something infinitely more profound, moving beyond what the eye can see, into realms where the laws are different, where consciousness might ripple across multiple dimensions. And so, beneath the veneer of scientific rigor, a deeper truth beckons, one that challenges our understanding of existence. Could it be, as these theories suggest, that our shifting realities are not mere illusions or coincidences, but reflections of a multiversal dance, where each decision, each fluctuation, resonates across an endless grid of possibilities? That somewhere, in the complex labyrinth of quantum waves, reality choices flicker like distant stars, each illuminating a different universe? As we delve into this mystery, one thing remains clear. Science is beginning to whisper the unthinkable. Our universe might not be a singular, fixed entity, but an ever-expanding tapestry woven of infinite threads. And perhaps, within this grand design, the very nature of our existence is the echo of possibilities we have yet to understand, a shadow cast by realms beyond our reach. The question is no longer just about what the universe is, but whether we can grasp the true extent of reality itself, whether shifting, overlapping, and parallel worlds are not just theories but the next steps in our quest to comprehend who we truly are. This is the dawn of a new understanding, one where science and the unseen converge, hinting that we might be more than inhabitants of a single universe. Maybe, just maybe, the multiverse is not a distant fantasy but an intrinsic part of what it means to exist, a cosmic whisper echoing through the corridors of time and space, urging us to look beyond, to question everything we think we know. The pages of history are often seen as unchangeable, etched in stone, carved into the collective memory of humanity. But what if the story we've been told isn't the whole story? What if the past, the very fabric of time itself, has been subtly altered, reshaped by forces we barely understand? As shadows deepen and the air grows heavy with unspoken truths, we venture into a realm where anomalies serve not as mere curiosities, but as cryptic whispers of a reality that defies our grasp. Our journey begins with a peculiar event, the disappearance of the Library of Alexandria. Once a luminous beacon of knowledge, a shining hub where the greatest minds of antiquity convened, it was reduced to ashes, or so history claims. Yet, some evidence suggests a different story. Eyewitness accounts from ancient times speak of invaders arriving to save scrolls and manuscripts, of an explosion that didn't quite match the narratives we've accepted. Was it an accident, or was there a clandestine effort to contain forbidden knowledge? Could it be that some knowledge was deliberately concealed or even moved through time? Moving forward centuries, we confront the strange case of the Tunguska event in 1908. An enormous explosion over Siberia flattened trees across a vast distance, yet no impact crater was ever found. Official explanations pointed to a meteoroid or comet, but many researchers argue that no such object was ever recovered, and the pattern of the destruction suggests something that defies natural explanation. Some theorists speculate that an experimental device, or even an anomaly in space-time, caused the blast, a crack in the fabric of reality itself. Could this event be a glimpse into the manipulation of our timeline? A point where reality briefly wavered and corrected itself? As we continue, the anomalies intensify. Consider the case of the timeline discrepancies surrounding well-known figures. For decades, conspiracy theories have circulated about historical icons, like the mysterious disappearance and reappearance of certain individuals or the sudden emergence of sudden, unexplained gaps in their biographies. For instance, the sudden appearance of Albert Einstein's photo with a young woman after his death raises questions. Was she part of a cover-up, or could their relationship have been altered or erased? Even more chilling are accounts suggesting that some photographs of key events were manipulated or fabricated, potentially altering the course of what we believe to be true. Then there's the intriguing phenomenon of historical artifacts that seem out of place, defying the accepted timeline. Out-of-place artifacts, objects so advanced they seem centuries ahead of their time, are found in layers of soil or ancient ruins. The Antikythera mechanism, a complex device dating back over 2,000 years, is one such marvel, resembling a rudimentary computer 1,000 years before our modern technology. What if these artifacts are tokens from some alternate timeline, remnants or clues of technology that once existed, then deliberately suppressed or concealed? Could the existence of such artifacts hint at clandestine knowledge exchanges or even interference from entities beyond our understanding? Further beneath the surface of this maze of anomalies are reports of altered facts in historical records. Documents that have been reclassified, edited, or destroyed outright. The medieval chronicles mentioning encounters with beings described as others, or star visitors, suddenly fade from official accounts. Are they mere myth, or are they suppressed memories of interactions that changed the course of history? The realization sinks in that history as we know it might be a carefully curated narrative, a tapestry woven with threads deliberately hidden to keep us in the dark. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of all is the notion that entire eras, periods traditionally examined and studied, might have been reconstructed or altered. Imagine a timeline where the revolutionary truths of ancient civilizations like the Sumerians or the Egyptians are not accurate, where their origins, their knowledge, and their technologies have been fabricated or obfuscated. Powerful forces could have reshaped these histories to serve their purposes, eliminating evidence, rewriting narratives, erasing inconvenient truths. Could the ancient myths and legends be distorted echoes of actual events, altered by successive generations to hide the original story from us? As we delve into these anomalies, the pattern emerging is clear. The past appears to be far more mutable than we dared to believe. Every strange event, every contradictory record, and every out-of-place artifact serve as threads pulling us toward a chilling realization. History itself might be a living, breathing construct, susceptible to manipulation across eras and epochs. It suggests an unseen hand, be it shadowy organizations, advanced technologies, or even higher dimensional influences, that has been subtly guiding, erasing, and reshaping our collective memory. Consider the implications. If history can be altered, then the very foundation upon which we build our understanding of reality becomes unstable. How many of our truths are genuine? How much of the past has been fabricated or erased to serve a hidden agenda? Are we living within a carefully constructed illusion, a version of history that has been sanitized to protect certain secrets? These questions threaten to destabilize our very perception of reality, pushing us beyond the boundaries of conventional understanding into a realm where time itself might be a malleable construct. And yet, amidst these disturbing revelations, there is a strange sense of hope. If anomalies and discrepancies are clues rather than mere anomalies, then perhaps they are keys, pieces of a puzzle leading toward a greater truth. The very existence of these anomalies implies that there are those who preserve fragments of the real history, hidden within the labyrinth of records, artifacts, and suppressed knowledge. They are like echoes, resonances from a time before the distortions, whispering to those who dare to listen, urging us to look beyond the veil of accepted history. What if the greatest revelation is yet to come? What if, through understanding and unraveling these anomalies, we could unlock the door to a deeper truth? One that reveals not only the fragility of our history but also the existence of forces beyond our comprehension, shaping our reality from the shadows? The anomalies are not just errors, they are invitations. Invitations to question, to explore, and to transcend the boundaries of what we think we know. As we close this chapter, the overarching truth remains elusive, suspended in the dark corners of the timeline. The possibility that history itself is more mutable, more fragile than the surface reveals. The shadows whisper of secret histories and hidden truths, of a past that refuses to stay buried, constantly shifting beneath our fingertips. The question lingering in the air is whether we have the courage to seek those truths or whether we will remain prisoners of a fabricated, manipulated history forever. In the shadows, echoes persist, traces of what once was, hinting at what might be, if only we dare to listen. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world outside seems to hold its breath, a different kind of chaos stirs within the mind. Imagine, for a moment, that reality isn't as singular, as fixed, as unchangeable as it appears to be. Instead, what if we exist in an endless web of parallel worlds, each one a shadow of the other, flickering in and out of our perception? It's a concept that sits on the boundary of science and philosophy, whispering questions that threaten to unravel our understanding of self. What if consciousness itself is not confined to a single thread but threads through multiple realities simultaneously? Thought experiments suggest that our awareness might be more adaptable, more fluid than we believe. Take, for example, the famous Schrödinger's cat. Whether alive or dead isn't just determined within a box but perhaps played out in countless universes, each representing a different possibility. This leads to the unsettling notion that every decision we make branches into new layers of existence, leaving behind versions of ourselves in realities we may never access. Theories of consciousness expand upon this, proposing that the mind functions as a kind of quantum processor, capable of navigating these manifold dimensions. Some researchers argue that moments of intuitive insight or déjà vu or glimpses into these alternate states, fragmented memories or echoes of ourselves living different lives simultaneously. If true, then our sense of a continuous identity might be an illusion, a narrative woven from the glimpses of these overlapping realms, stitched together by the brain's desperate attempt to make sense of the chaos. Popping into popular culture, we see vivid reflections of this idea. Films like The Matrix toy with the perception of reality as a simulation, a construct that can be manipulated. In Identity, the multiple personalities portrayed challenge notions of a singular self, hinting at a fractured consciousness scattered across a spectrum of realities. Even in the realm of video games, players are invited to slip between worlds with ease, embodying the crush of multiplicity. Each choice spawning a new thread, each action a ripple across countless dimensions. But what does this mean for our core sense of identity? If we are fragments of a greater multiversal tapestry, how do we define ourselves? Is there a true version of us, or do all the versions hold equal weight? Could our consciousness be a thread that simultaneously weaves through endless realities, sometimes aware of its counterparts, sometimes oblivious? The boundaries of self, once thought to be solid and unyielding, tremble at the thought of their fluidity. The questions become more urgent when we consider slipping between these realities, whether consciously or through some mysterious mechanism? Could our minds somehow leak into other worlds? Or could there be moments when we suddenly find ourselves somewhere entirely different? In stories of near-death experiences, people describe wandering through alternate realities, spaces that feel familiar yet impossibly alien. Some believe that glimpses into these states are actual crossings, fleeting visits to parallel existences that brush against our own. Reflect on the possibility that our dreams aren't just random landscapes conjured by our subconscious but portals to other dimensions. Could our nighttime visions be windows into a reality where different choices led us down divergent paths? And if so, are we then living many lives within countless realities, our consciousness flickering like a candle in the wind, transferring from one realm to another? Such reflections evoke a profound sense of existential uncertainty. If multiple realities are real and accessible, then our identity isn't a singular, unchanging core but a fluctuating pattern, a mosaic of countless selves. We become narratives, not facts, stories woven and rewoven with each decision, each thought that emerges in the labyrinth of our consciousness. Our beliefs about free will are challenged. If our choices spawn new realities, then are we truly the authors of our destiny, or mere passengers on a predetermined multiversal voyage? This might seem like science fiction, yet the lines blur every day. Quantum physics hints at the possibility that particles exist in multiple states until observed, collapsing into a single reality. If the universe itself is a superposition of countless states, then perhaps consciousness is the key that chooses which version to actualize. And if that's true, what powers lie within us? What depths of awareness are untapped waiting to be explored? The notion of living across multiple realities doesn't just unsettle our understanding of being. It shakes the very foundation of what makes us human. Who are we if our essence is scattered across dimensions? Do memories belong to a singular self? Or are they fragments stitched across these overlapping worlds? And if we can slip between them, intentionally or unintentionally, do our identities change? Or do they remain constant, just viewed through different lenses? The idea becomes even more compelling when considering the possibilities of contact. Could other versions of ourselves be aware of us, secretly watching or even influencing our lives? Are there echoes of our choices whispering from other realities, nudging us in subtle ways? The thought is both terrifying and exhilarating, that we are not alone, and that the threads of our existence are woven through countless dimensions, all vying for attention within the fabric of the cosmos. As we lie here, pondering these questions, the boundary between the known and the unknown dissolves. Our sense of certainty, about who we are, where we are, what is real, is challenged. Multiple realities extend like an infinite horizon, beckoning us to consider that perhaps, just perhaps, the truth of ourselves is more complex and layered than we can fathom. A kaleidoscope of identities, swirling and merging, existing in tandem yet separate, waiting for us to peel back the veil and glimpse the infinite. And so, we are left with a haunting question. In this vast multiverse of possibilities, which version of us is real? Can we ever truly grasp the full spectrum of our existence, or are we destined to wander amidst echoes of ourselves, living, slipping, and fighting to find coherence in the chaos? We are dispersed across realities that echo the infinite. That's the unsettling beauty of it, that perhaps we are more than one thing, more than any single story can tell. We are the multitudes, each whispering a truth that we may never fully understand, forever searching for the moment when all the realities align, and we finally know who we are. Deep within the corridors of modern science, a curious question persists. Could the fabric of time itself be more malleable than we ever dared to imagine? In the shadows of our understanding lies a web of theories, wormholes, time dilation, dimensional shifts that whisper of possibilities beyond the bounds of conventional reality. Imagine for a moment that our universe is but one thread in a vast tapestry, where unseen channels might connect distant points in time and space, lurking just beyond our perception. Wormholes, hypothetical tunnels through space-time, are often depicted as shortcuts, bridging vast cosmic distances in an instant. And yet, their potential extends beyond astronomy. If such structures exist, could they be harnessed, manipulated to leap across moments in history or alternate dimensions? This idea, once confined to the realm of science fiction, gains a flicker of plausibility with recent advancements. Quantum physics hints that space-time might be far more flexible than Einstein's initial equations suggested, allowing for the existence of these cosmic gateways. The possibility that these wormholes could be stabilized or even artificially created raises profound questions. Are we on the brink of discovering the route to intentionally travel through time or to different realities? Close behind, the concept of time dilation reveals that our perception of time isn't fixed but influenced by speed and gravity. Experiments involving atomic clocks placed at different altitudes or aboard spacecraft demonstrate that time can be bent, stretched, and compressed. While this effect is minuscule in our daily lives, it hints at a universe where, under extreme conditions, near light-speed travel or within intense gravitational fields, the flow of time can be manipulated. Could such principles someday be exploited to jump through centuries in an instant? Perhaps, in an era where technology advances beyond our current imagination, time dilation could be harnessed as a tool, not just for precise navigation, but for transcending temporal boundaries altogether. But beyond the familiar, come theories of dimensional travel, concepts that sound even more fantastical. Some physicists propose that our universe exists among countless others, each with different physical constants, dimensions, or historical sequences. In this multiverse view, shifting between dimensions might cause us to experience realities that seem like alternate timelines, altered memories, inexplicable changes, echoing the very phenomena we observe in the Mandela Effect. What if, deliberately or inadvertently, we could access these alternate worlds, hopping from one dimension to another? Could the human mind, accustomed to pattern recognition, be fooled into recalling different versions of reality because we're glimpsing fragments of other dimensions slipping through cracks in our own? Current science, therefore, teeters on the precipice of extraordinary breakthroughs in quantum mechanics, consciousness research, and particle physics threaten to peel back the veils concealing these hidden pathways. Some scientists speculate that consciousness itself could be a bridge, a filter tuning us into certain frequencies of reality, possibly explaining anomalous perceptions, flashbacks, or the unsettling déjà vus that frequently mirror the effects of subtle timeline shifts. If our minds can access multiversal memories or glimpses of alternate histories, then the possibility of consciously navigating these shifts becomes conceivable. Imagine, then, a future where technology can interface directly with the fabric of space-time or our consciousness, allowing us to probe and leap across different timelines with precision. The line separating science and speculation blurs, revealing a world where the rules of reality might be more fluid than ever imagined. All of these hypotheses, in wormholes, time dilation, or dimensional jumps, point toward a startling conclusion: that our current scientific trajectory could someday make what now seems impossible a tangible reality. The very notion of jumping through different points in time or alternate worlds, once relegated to stories and wild theories, starts to shimmer as a real scientific possibility. It's an uncomfortable, exhilarating thought, that we may be on the verge of mastering keys to unlock the secrets of eternity. And within this horizon of scientific endeavor lies a profound mystery. Are these phenomena mere coincidences, glitches in our collective perception? Or are they echoes from other realities bleeding through the cracks? Remnants of a universe far more complex than our limited senses can grasp? The Mandela Effect could be more than collective false memories. Perhaps they are trails left behind by travelers crossing the fabric of multiple dimensions, inadvertently altering the narratives of history. As we stand at this crossroads of understanding, it becomes clear that the key to unraveling these enigmas might not be solely in the depths of physics but also within the human mind, an interface where consciousness, reality, and the unknown converge. We are inching closer to comprehending a universe where time and dimension are but flexible constructs, waiting for someone daring enough to harness their potential. In the end, what if the next step in our evolution is learning to navigate not just space but the very fabric of, and beyond, time itself? The science is there, whispering promises of new beginnings and astonishing discoveries. The question remains: are we prepared to walk through these doors? Or will we forever be prisoners of a linear perception, blind to the multiversal tapestry woven directly into the fabric of existence? Perhaps, someday soon, the echoes of erased history will make sense, when we learn to listen and step beyond the limits of what we thought was real. In the dim glow of a flickering screen, shadows dance across the face of a man whose eyes hold the weight of stories never told. His voice, low and steady, begins to weave a tapestry of experiences, personal, haunting, inexplicable. An American woman recalls her childhood obsession with a beloved children's book. She swears she remembers a specific illustration, one with a smiling, mischievous fox, and just recently, she found the same book, flipping through its pages, only to realize the fox's face had changed. The grin was gone. The illustration was altered, subtly but disturbingly. Did she imagine it, or was her mind playing tricks? Yet others share similar tales, stories told by friends, strangers online, echoing her confusion. Across the globe, a man from London recounts a moment of déjà vu that chilled him to his core. He was walking down a familiar street when he suddenly stared at a billboard advertising a brand he thought had vanished years ago. As he approached, he noticed the logo was subtly different, more angular, more aggressive. Yet every memory told him it had a different design entirely. He questioned himself: did he forget? Was memory faltering, or was there some deeper, darker shift at play? Meanwhile, on Reddit, a well-worn thread hums with shared stories. Accounts from all walks of life, each one claiming to have experienced the same phenomenon. One user speaks of a famous line from a movie he watched as a child. "Luke, I am your father," a line that everyone remembers as iconic, yet now, in the film, the line is different, less dramatic, almost sterile. Others describe how their childhood memories of family vacations, logos, or even common phrases suddenly feel wrong, twisted into unfamiliar versions. For some, these deviations cause confusion, for others, dread. Documented cases emerge, photographs, recordings, screenshots, all seemingly altered. An old family photo of a loved one holding a cherished souvenir shows that objects' shapes subtly different. A news broadcast, archived online, now seems to feature different words on the screen, as if reality itself had shifted, as if the fabric of history had been erased or rewritten in the shadows. And in each story, there's a common thread. A sensation of knowing something is wrong, something that shouldn't be. An unsettling certainty that our memories, our shared history, are not as steadfast as we believe. Is it a mass hallucination? A collective trick of the mind? Or could these accounts point toward something far more profound? perhaps a hidden truth lurking just beyond the veil of our reality? As these testimonies pile up, a question begins to take shape. Could all these seemingly disconnected stories point to a larger, darker pattern? A reality in flux, or perhaps a truth we've been conditioned to forget? If so, who or what is manipulating these memories? And why? The stories continue, weaving a complex mosaic, each individual's experience an echo of something deeper. Some speak of strange coincidences, synchronicities that defy explanation, finding lost objects in places they had long given up on, hearing words that seem to be echoes of forgotten conversations, seeing symbols reappear in different contexts. These aren't isolated incidents but phenomena that cluster, hinting at a profound disturbance within the fabric of reality itself. What if these phenomena are more than random anomalies? What if they are signs of some unraveling, pieces slipping from the collective understanding, revealing a fragment of a hidden truth? Could it be that our reality is not as solid as it seems, but a fragile veneer, cracked in places too small for the eye to see? And beneath this, a deeper suspicion forms. Are we even meant to discover the truth? Is there a veil carefully hidden from our consciousness, behind which lies a secret so vast, so unsettling, that acknowledging it could unravel everything we believe? As the stories unfold, that terror begins to seep into the mind, an awareness that perhaps we are all living within a constructed illusion, and these echoes from the past are not accidents but clues. Every eyewitness account, every photograph, every story shared carries whispers of a world that is shifting, bending, almost alive. The Mandela Effect, what some dismiss as mere glitches, others suspect as signs of something far more sinister, becomes a mirror reflecting our deepest fears. Are we, in some way, prisoners of a reality that can be altered? Are we observers living within a game, or worse, witnesses to a process beyond our comprehension? The more we listen, the clearer it becomes. Our memories are not infallible. They are fragile, susceptible to change, and perhaps deliberately manipulated. As we dive deeper into these accounts, the unsettling possibility darkens. Maybe we are not alone in this, and that someone, or something, orchestrates these shifts. Could these strange coincidences be deliberate breadcrumbs, leading us toward an inevitable revelation? One that could shatter everything we hold as truth? And yet, amidst the chaos and confusion, a question hovers, relentless and unanswerable. If all these accounts point to a larger, hidden truth, then what is it? Is the Mandela Effect merely a symptom of a fractured reality? Or is it proof of an unseen force, an anomaly that reveals the cracks of a universe much more complex, much more sinister, than we are willing to admit? As the stories converge and the echoes of lost memories swell into a cacophony of doubt, one thing remains certain. Whatever the truth is, it's hiding in the shadows, waiting for someone brave enough to look beyond the illusions and confront the unknown. And perhaps that's exactly what these stories are trying to tell us. That underneath the veneer of normalcy, a darker undercurrent flows, one that questions the very foundation of our existence. That maybe we are living not in a fixed reality, but a mutable one that can be altered, erased, rewritten. And if that's true, then the question persists. What is consciousness, and who controls the strings orchestrating this strange, shifting mirror we call our world? In the dim glow of a flickering screen, the room is filled with an air of anxious anticipation. Researchers, thinkers, and skeptics alike lean forward, their faces a tapestry of curiosity and concern. The question hangs heavy in the air. Could we be jumping timelines? Are we shifting between alternate realities so seamlessly that our minds struggle to perceive the fissures? Or is there another, more insidious explanation lurking in the shadows of our understanding? The debates swirl around like restless ghosts, each voice a fragment of a larger truth. Some scientists argue that what we perceive as memory lapses or sudden changes in our environment are evidence of multiversal overlaps, moments where countless possibilities converge, and our conscious minds, unwittingly, slip between them. These theorists point to quantum mechanics, where particles exist in superpositions, states of being and not being simultaneously, suggesting that our very existence could be a fragile thread woven through a tapestry of countless realities. Philosophers, meanwhile, ponder the nature of perception itself. Could our consciousness be a limited vessel, unable to fully grasp the multilayered fabric of existence? They argue that our understanding of time is linear, a comforting narrative we've imposed on the universe. Yet, perhaps, underlying this narrative are ripples and fractures that we cannot see but can feel. At times, these fractures might manifest as inexplicable memories, sudden flashes of familiarity with places or people we've never encountered, or moments where the world seems subtly altered without explanation. The room hums with a low reverberation of ideas, some promising, others terrifying. Is it possible that what we dismiss as hallucinations or coincidences are actually signs of crossing a boundary we never knew existed? Could our reality be a thin veneer, easily cracked by the slightest shift in the multiverse? Like a fragile glass ready to shatter and reveal a deeper, more complex existence? Scientists search for clues, pondering experiments that could confirm these theories. One proposed experiment involves meticulously tracking seemingly random phenomena, tiny anomalies in data, brief lapses in memory, or spontaneous changes in physical constants. If these occurrences cluster in patterns, perhaps they are not random at all but signals of underlying timeline shifts. Researchers are developing instruments sensitive enough to detect these minute fluctuations, quantum sensors capable of perceiving the minuscule tremors in reality's fabric. But here lies the challenge. How does one distinguish between the chaos of a complex universe and the deliberate crossing of quantum boundaries? The question is as much philosophical as scientific. For every anomaly they detect, a dozen new questions arise. Are we witnessing shifts, or merely the universe revealing its true mutable nature? Sometimes, the line between the two blurs so seamlessly that even the most rigorous minds struggle to hold onto certainty. A haunting example emerges of individuals who recount memory gaps or moments of disorientation so profound they question their sanity. They remember events that never occurred, or forget what was once familiar. These testimonies ripple through the scientific community, fueling the debate. Could these are spillovers, cracks in the fabric where different timelines bleed into our own? Or are we simply witnessing the imperfections of human memory, the mind's own ways of coping with the incomprehensible? As they sift through data, some theorists suggest that the human brain might have an innate sensitivity to these fractures, an unconscious detector of the multiverse's jagged edges. This raises the unsettling possibility that we are constantly flirting with alternate realities, often without awareness, and many of our experiences are fragments not of our past, but of other paths we might have taken. In the midst of this chaos, a growing movement emerges, a collective craving for truth, calling for experiments that might unveil the secret of these shifts. Could there be a way to intentionally trigger or detect a timeline crossing? Some propose advanced quantum entanglement experiments, where particles are linked across different states of reality. If timing and conditions are precisely controlled, perhaps we could observe tangible evidence, the ripples radiating outward from a timeline transition. The theoretical groundwork is laid. Create a controlled environment where consciousness, time, and quantum particles intersect. If we could observe the same object manifesting differently upon remeasurement, or experience simultaneous but conflicting memories, these could serve as empirical clues. Yet, these ideas tread dangerously close to the unknown. What if such experiments destabilize our reality further? The implications are staggering. If timeline jumps are real and verifiable, then every moment of perceived permanence is tenuous, a delicate illusion. Our history, memories, even our sense of identity, could be fluid, transient phenomena flickering between permanence and flux. It forces us to confront a profound question. Is our reality a resilient order or a fragile tapestry susceptible to unraveling? And what if, at its core, these shifts are not accidents of quantum mechanics but evidence of a conscious universe, something aware of its own fractures? Could there be a cosmic entity, an intelligence, manipulating, glimpsing alternate versions of itself through these shifts? Or are we, perhaps, locked in a perpetual game of cosmic chance, where reality folds and unfolds like the pages of an infinite story? As the night deepens, the room quiets but the questions continue to echo, a haunting refrain that champions the deep uncertainty of our existence. If experiments confirm the existence of timeline jumps, we will be forced to reevaluate everything: free will, history, identity. Will we gain control over these shifts or become prisoners of an unpredictable multiverse? Theories whisper from the shadows, possibilities that shimmer with both promise and peril. Our reality may be a delicate dance along the edge of infinity, a fleeting harmony that can be broken in an instant. Perhaps the universe itself is a living, breathing archive, a sprawling library of countless versions of what could have been, and we are but travelers wandering through its infinite corridors. In this eternal search, the core question persists. Are we simply jumping between these corridors, or is there a deeper, more insidious cause? Something that drills beneath the surface of our understanding, waiting to be uncovered? The answer remains elusive, lingering just beyond the horizon of our perception, beckoning us onward into the unknown depths of existence. In the silent aftermath of what was once thought impossible, the boundaries of human understanding stretch and fracture into shattered fragments of what we believed to be true. If timeline jumping is real, if we are merely visitors slipping through the cracks of a vast, shifting multiverse, what does that mean for our very perception of existence? What is free will in a world where every choice could be undone, overridden in an instant? And if fate is not a fixed point carved into stone but a mutable fabric, then who holds the threads that pull us through the endless corridors of possibility? Imagine standing on the precipice of every decision, each choice rippling outward, bending reality like light through a prism. Is our sense of agency an illusion, a comforting story we tell ourselves to make sense of chaos? Or perhaps, in the grand architecture of the cosmos, our actions are mere whispers in a symphony orchestrated by forces we'll never understand. But what if some of us, those who have glimpsed the unseen folds of time, begin to see beyond the illusion? What if they start questioning the very fabric of their existence and the fabric's creator? In this realm of infinite possibility, the very concept of fate becomes fragile, oscillating between deterministic chains and free-floating chaos. For centuries, humanity clung to the comforting notion that life's path was carved with purpose, that some divine hand or grand design dictated where we would go. But the discovery that timelines can be jumped, manipulated, or erased tears through that narrative, challenging the core of human identity. If destinies can be rewritten, if memories can be altered or erased like scars that never quite fade, then what remains of our truth? Are we just fleeting shadows flickering through the vast corridors of times we leave behind? As these thoughts swirl in the depths of reflection, a darker question emerges. Are we truly the authors of our stories, or merely actors following a script written elsewhere? Perhaps in a place so distant and unknowable that even the stars themselves bow to its shadow? If timeline jumping reveals the precariousness of reality, then perhaps everything we hold sacred, our memories, our beliefs, our perceptions, are nothing more than echoes of a universe that tries to forget itself. And the more we uncover, the more evident it becomes that our existence is intertwined with a cosmic narrative far older and far more complex than we ever imagined. In these revelations, some find liberation, a shimmering dawn of understanding that we are nothing but fragments of a greater whole, fragments that can meld, shift, and reconfigure at the whim of unseen forces. But for others, this knowledge plunges them into despair. The realization that free will might be a comforting illusion, a mirage we cling to as we drift through an ocean of mutable realities. The question then is, if every possibility exists, and some now believe it does, what is the purpose of our choices? Are they real, meaningful, or merely echoes in a hollow chamber of endless echoes? A universe that echoes itself into oblivion? The implications stretch beyond mortal comprehension, touching the very essence of what it means to be human. Do our morals, our passions, our hopes and fears hold weight if the fabric of time and space can be rewound, fast-forwarded, or deleted altogether? If regrets are just temporary distortions that can be rewritten, are they truly regrets? Or just illusions created by a mind trapped in the illusion of permanence? The more we peer into these mysteries, the more questions arise. Questions that threaten to unravel the tapestry of our understanding, leaving us staring into the vast, dark abyss of the unknown. And yet, amid this chaos, there is a strange beauty, a whisper of something profound hidden within the uncertainty. Humanity's restless curiosity, its relentless pursuit of knowledge, may be the very reason we are drawn into these tangled webs of possibility. Perhaps, in the end, probing the implications of timeline jumping is not about unraveling the mystery but embracing it, accepting that our existence is a dance across shifting sands in an infinite desert. A dance choreographed by forces beyond our comprehension, choreographed in such a way that every step we take, every turn we make, is part of a story so vast that only fragments of it are accessible to mortal minds. As we leave this contemplation hanging in the darkness, the question lingers: what is the true nature of reality? Is it fixed, governed by natural laws and divine decrees? Or is it fluid, a malleable fabric woven and rewoven by unseen hands? If the universe itself is a construct of infinite possibilities, then perhaps we are simply travelers wandering through a labyrinth of mirrors, each reflection leading us to yet another question, another enigma. The truth, tantalizingly out of reach, whispers in the shadows, inviting us to continue searching, to keep questioning. And in that endless pursuit, we may find that the greatest mystery of all is not whether timeline jumping exists, but whether the search itself, with all its doubts and fears, is what truly gives life its meaning. Because in a universe where all possibilities are real, where reality itself can be rewritten, perhaps it's the very act of questioning that defines us. Perhaps it's the unyielding need to seek answers in the dark that makes us human, even as the universe whispers its secrets just beyond our grasp. In the final silence, we are left pondering, what universe are we truly inhabiting? And if the echoes they tried to erase are still out there, lurking in the hidden folds of time, then maybe, just maybe, the story is far from over. As the shadows lengthen and the last echoes of the truth fade into the darkness, we're left standing at the precipice of a vast, unknown abyss. The mysteries we've uncovered thus far are mere whispers, fragments of a bigger puzzle that refuses to be fully revealed. We've traced the murmurs of conspiracy, the clandestine experiments that blurred the lines between reality and illusion. Yet beneath it all, a haunting question remains. What is truly real? Throughout this journey, we've explored theories, some rooted in science, others in paranoia. A tangled web of whispers suggesting alternate realities, suppressed knowledge, and the possibility of a world much stranger than we dare imagine. We examined the strange phenomena, the inexplicable signals, the gaps in history, and the subtle manipulations that suggest someone, or something, has been watching, guiding, perhaps even controlling. As we piece these clues together, the picture grows more complex, more layered. Some whisper about a hidden agenda tied to mind control experiments, theories that link it all to a shadow government lurking just beyond the veil of everyday life. Others speculate about alternate dimensions, portals, or simulations, concepts that challenge our understanding of existence itself. The evidence we've gathered is compelling yet incomplete, urging us to look deeper. We ponder over unexplained disappearances, the strange behaviors of certain individuals, and the uncanny coincidences that seem to thread through history. Could it all be a grand design, a staged reality meticulously crafted? Or are we merely prisoners of our perception, conditioned to accept a manufactured narrative? Perhaps the most unsettling thought is the possibility that our entire reality is a carefully constructed illusion, a simulation, a hologram, a dream. If that's true, then everything we've known, every memory, every moment, could be nothing more than lines in a code, an elaborate fiction designed to keep us in the dark. So, what comes next? Theories suggest future experiments, technological breakthroughs that could peel back the curtain, revealing truths long hidden. Neural scans that might decode the fabric of consciousness, devices capable of detecting breaches in the fabric of our perceived universe, or breakthroughs in physics that could unlock gateways to other dimensions. But even with these advancements, the question remains: are we ready to face whatever truths lie beyond? And within this vast uncertainty, one thing is clear: we are compelled to continue searching. The urge to understand, to unravel the fabric that surrenders only in the whispers of the subconscious, is primal. We are seekers in the darkness, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the ultimate nature of reality. What if, in the end, the greatest mystery isn't just what lies out there, but what resides within us? Our minds, emotions, conscious and subconscious, are perhaps the most complex labyrinth of all. Could the answers we seek be hidden in the depths of our own consciousness, locked away, waiting for the right trigger to unlock the truth? Now, we invite you to question everything. Share your thoughts, your theories, your fears. What do you believe is the true nature of our existence? Are we living in an intricate illusion, or is there a deeper, hidden reality waiting to be unveiled? And as the screen fades to black, leaving only the whisper of unanswered questions, we must ask ourselves, what's next? Will we finally pierce the veil, or are we destined to remain forever lost in the echoes of what they tried to erase? The journey continues, and the truth, if it exists, is out there, just beyond the horizon of our understanding, waiting to be discovered.